You talk about living up to the hype. It's not very often, especially in this sport, that you get a matchup like that does live up to all the expectations. You had the UNC Tar Heels over the Duke Blue Devils 81-77. They will meet the Kansas Jayhawks in the national championship game on Monday. We will get to the marvelous one, our scouts. In my opinion, the rivalry is over. You could go ahead and call it. But the lasting impact of Coach K, marvelous one, what does it mean? I mean, the Final Four appearance in your final year is a heck of a run. Losing bittersweet in Cameron, the last game of the season, and now in the Final Four is one thing, but doesn't negate an entire career. Your thoughts on Coach K and what seems to be his final run?
Correct. 42 years. That's the bottom line, as far as I'm concerned. That's some longevity. I mean, in the first 6 years, he had some losing records. So in many cases, you'd be gone. So he survived the first half dozen years and then went on to a great career. It was funny. They were talking about this after the game between the Duke graduate and the North Carolina graduate on the panel for TBS. Actually, the North Carolina graduate, Kenny, said that Coach K made North Carolina better in a way because, North Carolina was better than Duke at the beginning, and then they got better, and now North Carolina is trying to, pick up the steam. So obviously, there's a very rare that a coach would retire with a final win. I mean, that would be very unusual, but it would have been a nice bittersweet ending to a career, but it wasn't meant to be. And they gave a great effort. And it looked like it might happen. It was a much better game, obviously, than the 81-65 Kansas wire-to-wire win. That was not too thrilling. We'll see if North Carolina can come down from their high, but I would think Kansas might be able to win that game.
I hate calling it a Cinderella run because it's the North Carolina Tar Heels, but this run of Tar Heels will be over by the Kansas Jayhawks. Does Bill Self win another national championship? Was this their national championship?
Yeah, it could be. I mean, North Carolina was actually an 8 seed coming into this tournament, so they're almost a Cinderella in that regard when you talk about seedings. It's a first-year coach. Hubert was a first-year coach, and it would be, I think, maybe the second time that a first-year coach will have won the national championship, so that would be quite remarkable as well. I would favor Kansas to this point. I mean, if you remember, North Carolina was taken to overtime by Baylor when they had the game won. That was the game they survived. That was the one they should have lost. That's what it takes. Sometimes you have to survive games like that against the defending national champion, albeit, to get to this stage in the tournament. And Kansas looks pretty solid. I mean, I think they reeled off the first 10 points. And if they can do that again, that would be pretty powerful in the championship game.
We saw Tom Brady retire and then come right back. Does Coach K come back?
Well, it's very rare that the scenario played out as it did. Usually a coach will announce his retirement after the last game or maybe a month before the end of the season. But he announced this almost a year ago, and they already delegated a successor. So I can't imagine that they would undo that at this point because he went the whole year having the farewell tour. And so I think 100% that he's retiring. I mean, he's had some back issues too. He had missed a few games and whatnot. And you saw him sitting on that stool up on the court. I mean, man's in his 70s and it's time for him to enjoy his family. And so that's what he's going to do. Obviously, he'll be a consultant, but I believe that his sideline appearances are done.
Tip of the hat to both Duke, North Carolina, Coach K, and that entire storyline that we got in the Final Four in that match because it was a lot of fun. We want to know your thoughts. Let us know on Twitter at Sports Cubicle TV. Does Coach K come back? What is his lasting impact in men's college basketball? Is the rivalry over? Has North Carolina officially taken the crown and will never give it back unless Coach K comes back